went to my very first Chicago Hounds game today, and maybe some of you know, maybe you don't know, but the Chicago Hounds are in the Major League of Rugby, the MLR. They were part of the expansion in 2022, playing their first season in 2023. I have been wanting to go. I have found them on TikToks because of their thirst traps. Job well done. And we got to see the game, me and my friend Casey. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. What happened at the end of the game, I've never seen before in my entire life. First off, let's just say Hounds won. How? I don't know what we do. You got to tell me. I don't know. Someone tell me. No, it's the end of the game. Game's over, but there are people waiting in line to go on the field. So I go up to this lovely gentleman right here, and I ask him, I'm like, hey, is this something that you guys do? Do any other teams do this? And he's like, we do this. We've been doing this, and no other team does this. And I can't believe the words that are about to come out of my mouth, but we got to meet the owner of the Chicago Hounds, James English. He went up to him and we introduced ourselves and we said hi. We asked him, can you tell us about you letting fans onto the field? And I said, are you guys the first team to do this? And he said, we're the first team in the league to do this. There are other teams that have followed suit. And he goes, the first time we did it, they actually got in trouble. He goes, sometimes I feel like the athlete experience is so far away from the fans. I want them to feel like they can come too, and we're creating heroes. Now the players know who some of the kids are and some of the fans are because they come on the field afterwards. And I just can't, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life as a sports fan. It was probably one of the greatest things I've ever witnessed. Probably my favorite part of this entire encounter was the owner, James English, saying, we need more thirst traps. We need to objectify the men. Within reason, though, guys, okay? We still need to be respectful. I also did tell him, oh, don't worry, coach. I made a thirst trap for you. I cannot believe that I am having this conversation right now with an owner of a professional sports team. It was somehow, this was the most wholesome experience in sports I've ever had.
Hey,
yes!
Bravo.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so this is Jenna Duddleston. If you're familiar with TikTok, Chicago TikTok, you've probably seen Jenna and her videos. So you're an influencer specifically about sports. So we're talking about sports influencing.
Yes.
And then I'm reading here that there was a viral Hounds moment to discuss too.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So why sports? The thirst traps?
Well, no, it never stemmed from that, but it's turned into people like that. Yeah. I just love sports because I think it's the ultimate connector.
Yeah.
I grew up an athlete, and I think it's hard when you live in Chicago to not be a fan of our sports teams here. It's just very much ingrained into my DNA. And I love to kind of expand outside of the traditional American sports. I think that we're kind of used to the major 3 or 4, you would say. But been wanting to go to a Hounds game. I've seen them on TikTok, and my friend suggested to make the thirst trap, and I was like, I don't know, it seems kind of tacky if I'm being honest. But I found out that everyone was really happy, and I think it was for the girls, and they seemed very pleased with it.
They seem pleased with it. So tell me how you got your start doing the social media thing, which is kind of blown up.
Yeah, so many years ago, went to college and was kind of in the beginning of the digital era. So a lot TV and radio, I didn't really get any internships with that, did a lot more digital stuff. And I loved the ability to connect online and to really use your voice in an authentic way that I feel like is a little bit different from the traditional ways of media. And I always felt like I really wanted my personality to shine through, and I think it was able to shine through through social and kind of be goofy and serious at the same time.
How are you editing these videos? That's my first question. I'll ask you another.
Yeah, Video Leap is my best friend, and it's my secret thing, and it's the greatest editing platform, and it's totally for dummies. It's the greatest
What's
thing
it
of all
called?
time. Video Leap.
You
do have to pay a yearly fee, but I promise you,
worth it?
It's 100% worth it.
Worth
yes.
it.
Noted. You're great on social media, by the way.
I'm terrible, that's why I asked.
No, you compared to me, oh my gosh, you're
I'm trying.
a rock star.
I have no idea what
You just
I'm
have
doing.
to own the fact that you're terrible. If you're going to be
yes.
terrible, just own it. That can be your thing. You don't have to be great at it. Just.
You know when you have the camera and you do the blackout and then you do something else? I had it in a mirror, you guys, the first time I'm making a video, and I tried to do the blackout thing and I hit the mirror. I'm like, this is not. Wait, do you know what I'm saying?
Did it break? Did you almost?
Oh, I know that thing where all of a sudden you're dressed
you
or whatever.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Okay, so. You worked at a bar growing up.
Yes.
So can you tell us about that experience?
Yes.
And maybe how this led you into the sports team thing? I know you said it's in your blood.
Yeah, so my family owns one of the oldest Irish pubs in the city. It's called Shinnick's Pub in Bridgeport. It's been in my family since 1938.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
so very much ingrained into my DNA. most kids went to daycare. I went to the bar after school. And I think there's a certain way of speaking to people.
She had juice, not wine.
Yeah, next to Uncle Edgar, who drank his old style.
That's
and I learned at
great.
Uncle Edgar's funeral that he wasn't my uncle, so that was really
Oh.
tragic.
Oh.
He's not, God rest his soul. But
Rest in
no,
peace.
but I think, there's certain bar banter and like bar terminology that you learn to be really quick and be on your feet, and the guests that you have tend to love sports, so you kind of need to know how to talk about sports with them and, kind of shoot the crap. So I feel like I have my education, and my bar education really helped me a lot too in everything I'm doing.
Now you ventured into what is foreign territory for a lot of us with the Chicago Hounds,
Yes.
rugby.
Yeah.
You mentioned the major three or four
Four,
sports that we tend to gravitate toward. What was that experience like for you?
I went in completely blind. I had no expectations besides really being excited about looking at their thighs. Sorry, gentlemen, I know you're on the other side of the camera.
Tall men in short shorts.
Yeah, it's nice, So, but again, I knew nothing about it. I had some buddies who played growing up, but didn't know anything about the game. I was Googling things literally, what's the points? What does this mean? Why are we doing this? Because I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when we got to go on the field, I was like, there is no way this is happening. You guys being in media know, you need media passes
Right.
and credentials to talk to people, and there's just a line, and I'm like, what am I living in? I truly felt like I was having an out-of-body experience at the game because it
Yeah.
felt like the most wholesome sporting experience of my life.
It was like high school again, like the football players, right?
Get to
Were
go
they
out
all
on that
sweaty?
field.
Yeah. And I was like, do I go up too? Do I not? But kids were
Right.
swarming them. They were signing autographs, and it was somehow wholesome with the mix of a thirst
Sure.
trap. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So talking about the fans going down on the field, what makes the fans special with this sport? What makes them stand out and they're different?
From talking to James, one of the owners of the team, I think just the fact that there seems to be a relationship that the fans have with the players and vice versa. And I don't think you often get that, especially growing up in Chicago with these major teams that we have. They seem very far away, or you need to get a ticket, or you got to pay extra to do this special event to even talk to them, where they just seem like a guy who you would run into at the bar shooting the shit, and it's just so easy and relaxed.
How about the game itself? We maybe draw some parallels to American football. I know there's tackling. Run us through, because you're
football?
our emissary.
Okay.
What's the game itself like, and what surprised you about watching it?
Football is for, I'm going to try to find the politically correct way of saying this, for a bunch of wusses.
We'll allow it. Judges will allow it.
And I love football. I love football very much, but at one point I saw someone pulling a shirt and just beating his arm up, and I'm so again it was I'm what is happening?
Because there's no pads.
Because there's no pads, and it just the game never really stopped. It's pretty quick, and you're just trying to pay attention and figure out what's going on. And I was shocked at how violent the game was.
Oh.
Yeah, which I liked.
You like? Yeah, I've never.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Do you know the rules now, inside and out? You don't.
No. I'm gonna learn them. I'm gonna learn them as we go. Yeah, I know nothing, but I'm here for the girls to help educate them as best as I can.
Speaking of educating the public, where can folks find you if they want to follow? I just followed along on Instagram, but tell everybody where your content is awesome.
Thank you so much.
It's so great. It's educational and entertaining. But give us your pitch and where folks can follow along if they want to follow Jenna Duddleston.
TikTok and Instagram, it's just Jenna C. Duddleston. My name is a mouthful. Duddleston.
Oh, there. We got it.
There we go.
Look
That's
at that.
beautiful.
We're so professional
that's it.
here. Awesome, Jenna. Thank you
Thank
very
you guys
much
so
for
much
being
for
here.
having
And
me
coming
on.
up right after the break, she mentioned the owner, right? Not only owner, we got players in the house.
You guys are
thighs.
Listen, you are very blessed.